Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Hello, Israel Peck. Welcome to The Culture Hack. I am super excited. I've been trying to get you on the show for a while here. Israel is the founder of Cratic.ai, which is a super cool software that I'm excited to get into. So welcome, Israel. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Adam. This is great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell us about Cratic. What kind of great things does Cratic do?
Yeah, thanks. Well, first I'll say, my point of view, I guess, on why this business needs to exist in the first place. I used to do a lot of business transformation work, helping companies go through change, reorging, cost cutting, process rebuilding, automation, things like that. And I just believe now, kind of in my heart of hearts, that once a business is really set up and all the pieces are in place and you have the people in the seats and you're running the business, that the most dangerous or enabling thing to the margin of the business is culture. I'm a big believer in this idea that different companies have kind of unlocked the culture question for themselves, or they haven't. Mm-hmm. There's a great article from Harvard Business Review last year where they did a study with McKinsey that showed that top performing culture businesses in the same industry compared to bottom quartile culture businesses have something like a 300 times profitability, or 300% profitability jump.
Wow, so 300%. It's not like, even if you said to me like 20%, I'd be like, oh, yeah, awesome. But like 300 is, whew.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's crazy because they're in the same industry. It's like businesses doing the exact same steps, but they have a totally different margin, totally different outcome. And so, I'm passionate about helping companies go through that journey to open that door and become that 3x business. And so what we're doing at Cratic is building a software tool to enable that. So, great leaders do it all the time, but what if we could do it with a software tool and then scale it is kind of the question that I'm trying to answer with my business. That's what we do at Cratic. So Cratic is a culture building business. It's about building relationships and positive community and teams and doing it through a software interface.
Okay, I love that. And I've tried Cratic and I've kind of gone through the orientation, so I can tell you it's pretty neat in how it measures and asks questions and kind of takes you through having the conversations, right? Creating the psychological safety and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the foundation, which we might talk about more, but like definitely conversations. People just having better new conversations that they've never had before. I think language is a real doorway to culture. When you look at language, how people define things, how they share ideas, how they chew on ideas together, all of that. There's really positive patterns that we can pick up in the language signature for people who do it in a really productive way. And then there's unproductive patterns. And so trying to analyze that and then shift people to those more productive patterns of communication is, I don't know, it's like a brand new science. I think it's really cool. I absolutely love it. So that's what I spend all my time geeking out about.
Okay, I love it. Fantastic. Well, we always talk about engagement on the show. So Cratic is designed to create engagement, drive engagement. But when I say engagement, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question, and what came to mind for me was Curtis Richter's rat experiment in the 1950s. If you remember this experiment, basically he was putting rats into jars and watching them drown to see how long they would swim.
Okay.
How familiar? So
no, I haven't heard this one.
It is a very famous experiment that put psychology on the map. It happened in the 1950s at Johns Hopkins University, and it was a professor named Curtis Richter. And so he would put these rats into jars and let them swim around until they would drown. It was kind of a morbid study, but he found that on average, these rats would swim for about 9 minutes before they would give up. Then he tried a part of the experiment where he would wait until the rat was about to sink. He would pull it out, he would dry it off, and give it a break for like a minute, and then put it back in the water and let it swim again and see how long it would go the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, what is your guess? Like, how long do you think that they would swim the second time, bearing in mind they swam like 9 minutes the first time?
I'm gonna guess less, that they're tired, and I don't know, I'm gonna guess less.
Well, so what makes the study so incredible is that they, on average, they swam for almost 30 hours in the second version. Once they were taken out, given a break, and put back in. And some of them swam for over 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like incredible, like what was unlocked, and they call it the hope studies now because it has to do with, kind of like unlocking hope for these rats. And so I guess going back to engagement, when I think about engagement, there's like this baseline idea that people have, like, oh, we want the employees to show up and be in a good mood and like do their job. To me, that's very basic. Like that's not scratching the surface of culture or what you can really get. I think there's this like unlocking experience that happens for some employees where they don't only show up, do their daily job, but they actually show up really engaged, excited, hopeful about the future, like really kind of committed to the vision of the business. And that's the part that I think people are, what we really need to start focusing on is how do we unlock that for people? Because once you do that, you start to see incredible results in your business. And that's how you get to that kind of that 3x business outcomes.
Love that. Very cool. Like unlocking hope. And that's, it's relevant not just for business, but for your life in general, right? Like,
yeah. You'd be surprised how often that comes up when we talk to people about doing this with teams. It often it goes right back to their home environment, their personal relationships, because you're a whole person. Like parts of you go to work and then parts of you go home, but the whole you has to go through this whole life experience. So.
Yeah, I love that. Very cool. Well, I always like to share stories about your travels and things of that nature. So do you have any stories where Cratic has been used and what those results have been?
Yeah, we have some really interesting ones. So first of all, we are a research business. We get a lot of our money from grants and from doing research on this topic, basically trying to automate this. So we've done programs now we do programs with clients as well. We've done, we probably are close to 50 programs that we've done. And our goal is always to improve some kind of well-being metric for the organization. And so helping them define what that well-being metric is and then move the needle on that metric. The big metric we like to brag about is ENPS, Employee Net Promoter Scores. And we've seen some incredible results with those. I think the best and the nice thing about ENPS is it relates directly to costs for the business. If you can improve the ENPS, a lot of costs in the business go down, like turnover costs, mental health leave, absenteeism. You're able to find better candidates, get higher retention rates and everything. So, so we kind of hang it a lot on this ENPS metric. And so I guess we've seen that metric move a lot. With some clients have been shocking. Like one business we worked with had been going through cost cutting for like 8 years. They had downsized the business to almost 20%, I think, of the original size of the business. So like 80% of the employees have been let go over the course of about 7 years. And we came in and did a program and found that their ENPS scores were just in the basement. And it was incredible. I mean, we saw more than a 50-point increase across the organization. One of the teams bounced, I think, over 80 points, which is a huge shift in the culture of the team. The way then that actually plays out and what that looks like after the fact is actually really interesting, because part of what we're doing is we're focusing on language efficiency and like helping this group of people communicate really efficiently. And by doing that, by defining their terms and like talking through these different sort of language aspects, one of the things that happens, we actually have seen several businesses reduce even more employees after using our software. And that's actually kind of a shocking insight that we had, was that it seems like the same number of people can do more work. They can do more work because they're actually having better conversations. We've kind of established the right pattern for them to work together. So we've seen that happen too. We've seen businesses have incredible sales growth as well from doing this. So there's a lot of different use cases. I'm still really curious to kind of find the next one. There's always kind of a new one to uncover. We're looking at doing some more with nonprofits and with student populations to try to kind of prove out some cases there. So I'm still kind of excited to see what the results of that look like.
Okay, very cool. Well, now you got me excited because we're talking about doing this at ENT Solutions, right? So I'm super excited, and this is great for really, I think, any consultants, whether you're doing fractional CFO or you're doing workshops or coaching or whatever, because you can actually now show results of some of your work through your scoring, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, like a huge thing. I mean, it all bubbles down to like, can we get people to talk and build deeper relationships quickly? And can we measure and prove to ourselves that we are actually moving in the right direction? So if anybody who's trying to build relationships and sees value in relationships and believes relationships can get deeper and believes that those deeper relationships have value, will benefit from this.
Okay, I love that. So looking to the future, are you seeing more companies looking to have these better conversations, or what do you see for the future in terms of not just Cratic, but kind of culture and engagement in general?
I think everybody in the culture space has a uphill battle to some degree. Culture is a hard thing to prove out. That's part of the reason we're really focusing on metrics, trying to get a metric into the organization that people believe has material business value. Otherwise, I mean, my background is in finance. I did my master's degree in corporate finance, so I understand like the P&L and the cash flow statements, the balance sheet very well. And I understand that if you can't make a credible case for doing something, you can't make a business case for it, it's not really worth it. So my work and my mission is really all about educating customers and clients and partners. We work with a lot of different consulting firms on the value of implementing a well-being metric and then moving it. And then tying it back to a business case. And so that's, I think, what my world is going to continue to be about. There's the other side of it, of course, is like the technique, like how good you are at moving those scores and how quickly you can move them, how meaningful it is to the underlying, teams that are doing this process. So I think those two are the pieces. I think getting people kind of committed to a measurement tool and then getting them to and then getting better and better at our technique to improve it.
I love that. And what I like about Cratic is, we've looked at a few of these measuring tools, is you guys don't just measure, you're actually through the software are implementing. So you're not just measuring, you're going to move the needle just through Cratic, never mind all the other initiatives that you might do. So I think that's my favorite thing about Cratic.
Yeah, I should probably lead with that, like more upfront. But yeah, like that's probably the coolest part of it, is we're the first that I know of in I'm sure it's going to be a new generation of products that doesn't just measure it, but it takes an active role in moving it. That's the Socratic part of Cratic, is we found that by asking different types of questions, you can actually shift the dialogue, shift the dynamic. So we do that already with the tool. And so that's what's really cool, is like you kind of just turn it on and press play and start experiencing it, and the relationships just build naturally. It's really wild. I think this is kind of one of the most exciting things that's happening with AI, although it's new. We're not seeing a lot of people in this space yet. There's older products in the space like Culture Amp that mostly just do the measurement. The next step, I think, is having a product that actually drives the change with the group.
I love that. Yeah, it's super cool. And the way you're using AI to predict questions based on answers, like, it's super neat. Well, thank you so much. I really love this idea. I love the idea of unlocking hope that you spoke of and then measuring it, engaging it. So thanks so much for your time, Israel. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.